Hi, I'm Cara Weiss. I lead the consumer intelligence team over at CondeNast. For those who are not familiar with CondeNast, we are a premium publisher of content both online and offline. One of the reasons that we engage Symphony in a research study is we've encountered many challenges with the advent of the mobile device, but also opportunities as well. So, from an audience development perspective, we know that across our network of properties, half of the traffic that come to our online sites come from the mobile device. And we know that some of that is via social, but we also know that many are coming through direct and also search. So what we were trying to really understand is both from an audience development perspective as well as trying to understand how to engage consumers from a subscription marketing standpoint. We really wanted to understand how do we reach consumers on the mobile device and how do we keep them engaged. We also know that we have very passionate consumers, so our consumers are reading our content significantly, spending a lot of time on our sites, as well as just consuming this type of content in other areas as well. So we wanted to conduct some research through the lens of content enthusiast groups. So you'll hear in a moment about the different groups that we were looking at, but for example, an entertainment enthusiast group or beauty enthusiast, because we have a lot of content around these areas. And the other key thing was we really needed to get granular level data, something that we can't currently get in the syndicated space right now. So time of day, so that we can understand when we should be engaging consumers, where they are. And also through survey research, we really wanted to understand attitudes and additional information around behavior on the device. So with that, I will hand it over to Charlie to talk a little bit about the research, and then we'll talk about how we have used the research internally at CondeNast.
Thank you, Cara. We're very pleased to be here today, and we're also very happy to have worked with CondeNast on this pretty cool project. Symphony Advanced Media exists because of the phenomenal changes that have happened over the last few years in how all consumers are consuming media. People are consuming media simultaneously, and they're consuming across a variety of devices. And the traditional ways of measuring media really are still stuck in the past in terms of understanding media by media. But the name of the game from all the advertisers and media companies is to understand how are people consuming media today. It has huge implications for tracking TV and for tracking the concurrent viewership of TV, mobile, social, etc. This has huge implications for the survey-based research world as well. The technology that we've developed to track media is now able to track more and more information behaviorally as opposed to through pure surveys. And so our work with CondeNast was really to delve deeply into how different enthusiast content groups are consuming media. So very quickly, on our technology, we made a decision a couple of years ago that the media meter of the future would be a smartphone. And what we've done is we've put a technology onto a smartphone, Android and iOS, that behind the scenes tracks people's media usage. So for our panelists, we know what people are watching on TV, we know what they're doing online, we know what they're doing on Facebook and Twitter, and we know what they're doing on their mobile devices. And then very quickly we'll be add cinema and radio to the tool as well. So you have the ability of getting a true media day in the life for true cross-media viewership. And so that's really what we have on this slide explaining how that works. Now, with this panel that we have of all of these different, the media consumption by a group, we have the ability of profiling our database on a very regular basis. And we worked very closely with CondeNast. They identified 7 groups that they were very interested to understand the media behavior of these enthusiast groups. And as you can see here, the 7 groups are entertainment, shopping, food, news and politics, travel, beauty and fashion, and technology. And we were able to use our technology to kind of look at around 700 different websites that people would go to. And if they went to these websites and they went to these apps, we were able to put them in buckets of calling them an entertainment enthusiast. None of you can read this slide, I know that, but the importance of this slide is to let you know this is the kind of detail that will come out of our system. The columns are the 7 enthusiast groups, and the rows are the kind of information that we're able to generate. The demos, psychographics, their social media usage, Facebook, key websites they go to, and of course for all of these people, we know the percent of mobile that they represent. And we worked with Conde Nast to understand their magazine readership, and we've done some surveys on that as well. For any of you that want this deck, we'd be happy to share it with you. I'm not sure, Irene might have it on the MRMW site when this is all done, but if you give us your cards, we'll be happy to send it to you as well. So what Conde Nast basically did with us is they took these 7 enthusiast groups and put them into 2 categories. The category on the left here represents the categories that they actually have pretty decent penetration of. And you can see the icons on the left. The ones on the right, and the entertainment one is the woman with the green background. That's the icon for the entertainment enthusiasts. That actually happened to be one of the key areas that Conde Nast was more interested in gaining reach in. So what we did for the purposes of this study is all the rest of the slides kind of go deep into that one category. But with Conde Nast, of course, we did this analysis for all the other categories as well. So once again, another eye chart here. But what we've tried to do here is to convey what are some of the key interesting findings that we were able to glean from the combination of behavioral and attitudinal work that we did for this particular category. I'm not going to go through all of these, but there were 2 findings that came out pretty importantly throughout this process. And these are all norms relative to all the other categories we looked at. For the entertainment group in particular, I think that people absolutely look at the smartphone as an extension of their personality. Look, all of us have smartphones with us all day long, but when it comes to tracking entertainment, there actually seemed to be kind of an incremental dimension of that. And then the other one was the idea of being highly involved in social media, looking for particular kinds of content to be reflected in social media, and also talking a lot about specific brands on social media. These were the 2 characteristics in this area that seemed to jump out when it came to this entertainment segment. Now, I mentioned earlier that the lion's share of the data that comes from us is behavioral. One of the nice things about our technology is we have a survey-based connection directly hooked in to this behavioral data. So we can use our technology to find out certain characteristics of media usage and then spawn surveys directly to those people. So here are some of the key findings, some of the survey findings that came from our surveys to this entertainment enthusiasts. In the upper left, keep updated on current news and events. There's definite reference to social media here, looking for research and products. All of these kinds of things fed in to our way of helping Conde Nast understand this unit. Now, here are some of the technographics that came out of this entertainment one. This one is kind of interesting. If you look at the upper left, you know, one of the things that we have the ability of doing with our panelists is we know what device they use. We know what mobile devices they use. We know what tablets they use, et cetera. It's kind of interesting to see here that almost 25% of the people in this category, in addition to their smartphones, have at least 2 tablets. And you know, I don't know too many people that have more than 2 tablets. My understanding is for the entertainment category, that's true because of the intense reliance on video, pretty much nonstop. So I think that was there. And I think that, once again, going back to the social side, that's what we have circled here. The link from social media post, if you look at the index on the far right, this is actually a norm or an index that is absolutely higher than almost other ones in terms of the role of social among these entertainment folks. So just a couple more slides before I turn things back over to Cara. One of the things that kind of popped out with this entertainment category when it comes to social media was the phenomenal reliance on photos. Now, look, this is true across the board, no question, but once again, with this entertainment category, it's very, very significant. Now, why would that be of interest to Conde Nast? Those of you that are familiar with Conde Nast publications know that they are just the highest quality, and the photos and the creative surrounding the photos are in a class by themselves. So, you know, Conde Nast has a really unique opportunity and position to actually leverage their photo library, for lack of a better word, in the social scenario. Now, this slide here is kind of a signature slide for Symphony Advanced Media. One of the things I mentioned earlier that we are able to do with our technology is for all of the members of our panel, but as you reduce it down to different segments, we have the ability of kind of understanding the cross-media day in the life for any individual or any category segment. I can't underscore how significantly important this is to the largest advertisers out there. Many of them are using our data because they want to know how can they most effectively reach their target consumers. And they're using data from Symphony Advanced Media to kind of understand on an hour-by-hour basis where are people going. Now, for the entertainment enthusiast group, there's a number of interesting things here. The importance of YouTube and Netflix, both weekday as well as weekends. I think particularly the reliance on Netflix on weekends. Another interesting finding here is the use of email in the lunch period. You know, I think the lesson there for marketers is that if indeed you want to reach these groups, probably best to reach them between 12 and 1 on email, so the emails are going to show up at the very top then. If you email them early in the day or after late afternoon, when they go in at noon every day to kind of check their emails, they're probably not going to have the impact that they want. There's tons of findings that can be generated by zeroing in on the kind of media that people are using at different times of the day, both during the week and on weekdays. So what I've just done is led you through some of the top-line data that came out of our system on a category-by-category basis that was used by Cara and her team. I'm going to turn it back over to Cara now to let you know how her team and Conde Nast in general used all this information to inform their strategies.
Yeah, we really like that last slide because it was something that we couldn't get through any other data source through the lens of content enthusiast groups. And so we're able to use that for content distribution strategies. It's one of the data points that our social media managers have been looking at as they push out content through social channels. We have a lot of entertainment content, you know, Vanity Fair, New Yorker, entertainment content pretty much on all our sites. And so, you know, one of the examples that Charlie shared was the entertainment enthusiast group was consuming a lot of video on the weekends. So we've been able to leverage our entertainment and video content across our sites through Conde Nast Entertainment Video and pushing out more content in those times when we know that consumers are there, so particularly on the weekends. We've also been able to use this data to provide a segmentation strategy. So for marketing purposes, particularly subscription marketing, we're able to identify where consumers are mostly likely to be, at what times of days, so that we can push out subscription marketing to those consumer groups. And then finally, understanding what formats are being used across devices has, you know, again, helped us from a marketing and content distribution perspective, as well as developing new products and new sites, you know, relaunches. It's been something that we've been keeping an eye on. Particularly, we understand that video is consumed a lot on the tablet. So understanding that piece of information has helped our product teams really develop content with the screen size in mind. So again, you know, a lot of this data is used as a key reference point for several teams across Conde Nast, product, content distribution, and then marketing and sales.